What if I told you that Dodge's latest move with its all-electric 2024 Charger Daytona isn't just an evolution, but it can actually be a disaster waiting to happen? Yeah, they've opened up orders for this new model, calling it the first call, but honestly, it's feeling more like Dodge's last desperate attempt to stay relevant in the world of muscle cars. And Dodge knows this, so much is so that they're trying to throw all kinds of gimmicks to get people excited. 2 days at the Rafford Racing School, some leather driving gloves that D170 owners didn't get, and a concierge service? But if you think that a couple free racing lessons is enough to distract from the fact that the Charger Daytona just doesn't have the same Dodge DNA, think again. Let's break down why this launch feels more like a flashy cover-up for what could be Dodge's biggest mistake yet. If you want to upgrade your current Mopar, Pony Car, Chevy, SUV, or truck, my friends at Just Bolt-Ons and DragRacingWheels.com are your go-to sources for performance upgrades and high-quality racing wheels. Whether you're looking to make your vehicle louder with an exhaust system or upgrade the ride with some sleek, lightweight wheels, they got you covered. And with my special promo code BUTTER at checkout, you can save up to an additional 15% off on your next order. So check them out for the best in performance parts at unbelievable prices that just got a little bit better. All right, so let's talk about this first call package. Dodge is really laying it on thick here. If you order your Charger Daytona by Halloween, you get a VIP experience, which includes a welcoming kit, a 2-day class at Rafford Racing School, and some leather gloves to make you feel like a real driving pro. But let's be real here. Who's actually buying a muscle car for some free, fancy driving gloves and some racing lessons? The D170 owners didn't get white gloves either. So I'm going like, what are we doing here? This is not a Ferrari. But my over 36,000 friends and the 71% not yet subscribed. What happened to the days when Dodge was all about raw power and attitude? Now it's more like, hey, buy an electric car and we'll throw in some freebies to make it seem cooler than it actually is when we start to try to serenade you with this speaker system and this Frostonic chamber exhaust to not make you seem like a clown. It's kind of like a magician trying to distract you with a shiny object while hiding a real trick behind the curtain. The more you learn about the Charger Daytona, the more you start to realize that this vehicle would be a second disaster for Dodge. The first disaster is the wildly unpopular Dodge Hornet that's been one of the worst selling vehicles in America. People don't want the Hornet, and literally every time I see any social media clips of the Hornet and the Charger Daytona, the comment sections everywhere is full of people who don't exactly like these cars. And I'm only putting it nicely. Go read the comments if you dare. Just look at the like to dislike ratio for this video for the introduction of the Charger Daytona. And the car itself, the Charger Daytona RT gives you 496 horsepower and 404 foot-pounds of torque, while the Scat Pack version pushes to 670 horsepower and 627 foot-pounds of torque. Now sure, these numbers look very decent, especially considering that these are all-wheel drive numbers, but is really anyone excited about an all-electric Dodge, especially when the brand has been built on the roar of a gasoline engine? And remember, these numbers are just only for the 2024 model year. Once 2025 models roll in, Dodge will drop those stage kits that already come pre-installed on these first edition models. But the question is, will they drop the price? I doubt it, and the price of the Charger Daytona RT and the Scat Pack is already laughable when you compare it against a Tesla Model 3 Performance. Now, the Model 3 Performance can achieve a 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds with a top speed of 163 miles per hour. An $80,000 Scat Pack Charger Daytona can only do the 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. So it's already about a half a second slower than a Tesla Model 3 Performance and has a top speed, get this, of only 134 miles per hour, which compared to the Tesla Model 3 Performance, it'll get destroyed in the 0 to 60 and get destroyed in the top speed. And that's where things really start to fall apart. Dodge is betting big on the future of electric muscle cars. The Charger Daytona RT and the Scat Pack are supposed to represent the next era of high performance, but let's be honest here. Does anyone really believe that Dodge fans are lining up to trade the gasoline-powered beast, Scat Packs, Hellcats, Red Eyes, Superstocks, and Demons for an electric car that sounds like it is trying too hard but cannot even beat the one brand that it was supposed to beat? Dodge is trying to sell the Charger Daytona as the future of performance, but it feels like they're alienating their core audience. The people who loved Dodge because of its muscle cars, its loud engines, and its in-your-face attitude are now being asked to embrace electrification when that future of electrification is already starting to die. The truth is, Dodge might have bitten off more than they can chew with this particular car. The Charger Daytona is an embarrassment and can't even compete with anything that Tesla has out currently. From a performance perspective and even a price perspective, the Tesla Model 3 is Tesla's mid-level performance vehicle, and it wipes the floor with Dodge's entry-level RT and mid-level Scat Pack, and it comes in almost $30,000 cheaper. Let me repeat that. Almost $30,000 cheaper. You can get a faster Model 3 performance, and you get one with a higher top speed than Dodge. If you add like $8,000 to the Model 3 performance, it will self-drive, something that the Charger Daytona can't do, and it'll still be cheaper than the cheapest RT, which is basically like a watered down Scat Pack filled with cheap components like those cheap seats. So Dodge's bright idea for pre-speccing all these first editions, jacking up the Scat Pack price to $80,000 range, and then like I said, you can pick up a way faster Tesla Model 3 performance for $30,000 cheaper. And I mean, come on, man. Like, Dodge, what are you guys thinking? But like I said, Matt, I love you, bro, but you look like Carlos Tavares is standing behind the other side of that camera filming that promo video, and he's trying to force you to read from a teleprompter to film this promo that is a disaster of a car that you know is waiting to happen. You literally look like a hostage filming a hostage video trying to get out of this particular predicament. And guys, don't hold us against Matt. When you're forced by a European goofball that doesn't understand the American market, mistakes like deleting V8s from your lineup, deleting your current cars a year before you should have, because this current new car, electric Daytona, still has several months before it comes out, and you basically come out with this prototype looking Charger Daytona that look like it's supposed to be like the prototype to the car that we're actually supposed to get. This car does not look like it's finished or polished by any stretch of the means, and I particularly do not like the styling of this car. This car, I think, will be one of the greatest flops from moving from one iconic generation into another. Like, this is like, I mean, I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comment section, when you had a great generation of cars, what was the worst upgrade to that platform the next generation? I mean, I could probably understand, you know, maybe back in the 60s when they had the whole EPA and the oil crap, and then they go from high horsepower muscle cars to these 100, 200 horsepower muscle car versions that was ugly. Maybe that is like the equivalent of what's happening now. You had the government interfering with one of the greatest eras of cars in the 60s and moved us into like the 70s and 80s where cars went to crap. And then here we go doing the same thing again. We've had perhaps one of the greatest era of cars from like 2010 to like 2020. And then now we're moving to an era where the government put their foot in everyone's face to try to, I don't know, get everyone to buy this nonsense electrification. And now all these cars are crap. EVs are not the answer, and this is being forced, and usually when things are forced, it never works. And then, you know, we get this gem from Dodge, which really shows they know exactly what they're doing. And you'll see right here on this whole little sarcastic little press release, notice the Dodge horsepower locator has the ability to change your life. Excessive searching could cause issues for your vision, relationship status, and contentment for your current vehicle. Horsepower is known to be an addictive substance. You should consult with your good old common sense, a lawyer, your doctor, your spiritual leader, and your mom before entering into an agreement for more horsepower, then do it anyway. Now, The whole sarcastic tone just screams, we know our fans are obsessed with horsepower, but hey, we're switching to electrification, so just deal with it. It almost like Dodge knows they're losing their core audience, but they're trying to soften the blow with humor that's not there. Like, Dodge used to have a very good sense of humor, but I don't see anything now that's even remotely funny. But wait, there's more, because Dodge has also decided to make the buying process even more complicated by introducing pre-configured first call packages. Basically, you don't even get to fully customize your Charger Daytona that you don't really even want in the first place. So instead, Dodge has already decided what configurations will be available at dealerships and also what color. So usually when I see first editions, they're usually all the same color. Now Dodge is going to launch all these pre-spec colors and stuff with pre-spec packages. And I'm assuming they're doing this crap because they don't have enough components and they don't want to slow down their already slow production process. So if you're looking for a very specific color combo or feature set of packages, you're at the mercy of whatever your dealer has been allocated. And with this horsepower locator, you might have to go several dealerships away to find this one particular car, which is already ridiculous. But they know they can stack these dealerships up with multiple Charger Daytonas because they know it will not sell. I've been told by multiple dealers that they will not take delivery of these cars and they're going to skip over them. And you know, we all know what happens when dealers also have limited inventory. They tend to jack up prices with markups. Now I did see TK's Garage say that some dealers want like $100 grand for a Scat Pack Charger Daytona that people really didn't want in the first place. Because we all remember the last call models where dealers were marking them like crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of these dealers try to do the same thing to try to artificially get more money out of these cars, trying to say, oh, well, I guess these cars in demand, there's a markup on them. Step aside, you see these dealers on the list. These are the ones with the goods. Don't waste your time if they aren't on here. We want you to be happy, and that's why we're literally telling you where to shop. Dodge knows that this allocation system is going to create chaos. They're already telling you to take notes because you regret if you don't. This is a mess, and they're fully aware of it. Dodge is intentionally only allocating dealers 1 or 2 cars, like I said, because they know in the background dealers are refusing to accept delivery of these cars, which is why you won't see all of them getting the allocation to, because they've already told Stellantis, especially during dealer meetings, all this other crap, and especially that letter that they sent out like a week or 2 ago, they do not want these cars because they know they will not sell in the American public. In the majority do not want them. Like I said, I've been told by multiple dealers they do not want these cars because they know people don't want them. This car is not good looking, the fake exhaust is dumb, and it'll get destroyed by pretty much any cheap Tesla vehicle on the road today. Maybe Dodge will do a better job with the Banshee car, but I doubt it. The Model 3 performance is way better than the Scat Pack, and Elon still has plenty of time to upgrade the Plaid to destroy the Banshee if it can even compete in the first place. Now let's talk about money. The Charger Daytona RT starts at $59,000, while the Scat Pack starts out at $73,000. And that's before you factor in the almost $2,000 destination fee and any dealership markups that might occur. Sure, Dodge is dangling that $7,500 federal tax credit in front of buyers, but is that really going to sway anyone? Come to think of it, with this bad selling Hornet and this car right here, vehicles from Stellantis are on the worst selling list, about 5 of them. And more than likely, once this Charger Daytona starts to hit the streets, there'll more likely be 6 on the worst selling models list. Dodge is going to try to sucker these people to actually leasing these vehicles, because typically leases have lower monthly payments than if someone were to buy them. And then, like I said, they'll try to bribe you with a tax credit, but I just don't see it working. Dodge is also offering several premium packages like the Plus Group for about $5 grand and the Sun and Sound package for about $2,500. But at the end of the day, who is this car really for? With these packages baked into the cost of the first editions, these bargain packages are jacking the prices of the Scat Pack to over $80,000. That's like Hellcat and Red Eye territory for a car that can't even beat most gasoline vehicles. It may beat some of them, but it just can't compete with a lot of cars. The people who used to love Dodge for its raw power and affordable performance are being priced out. While the electric vehicle crowd is probably going to look elsewhere for a more polished EV experience, whose bright idea was it to call these cars RT and Scat Pack when those names were associated with budget performance? $80,000 doesn't sound like a budget-friendly vehicle. Now, let's be real for a second. The Charger Daytona isn't even fully available yet. Dodge has only started production on the two-door coupe versions, with delivery starting soon, but if you're holding out for the four-door version, you'll be waiting until the first half of 2025 if they don't push it even then. And how much would the price go up for the extra two doors on that car? And if you're a gas-powered loyalist waiting for the six-pack Hurricane models, that's not happening until the second half of 2025, which already got pushed back one time before. So by the time Dodge actually gets all these versions out the door, will anyone even still care about the Charger Daytona? The hype might have fizzled out with the first initial model selling, and after people had time to actually get in the cars, drive them around, and get destroyed by Teslas, well, that just killed the morale. And like I said, the market could have moved on to bigger and better things by the time these other variants come out. Dodge is gambling on these staggered releases, and it's a risky play. They could have easily kept the current cars around for a limited 2024 model year run, because Brampton, only thing that's going on with Brampton is they're going to reconfigure it for an electric Jeep that I don't see pretty much that many people buying anyway. So why not keep Brampton open for an additional year? I mean, you could have made, like, let's say you could have made a Charger Demon 170 version, because I've seen prototypes running around, a Charger Demons running around with the big wheels, and I've told you guys I've seen actual photos of a 1,000 horsepower Charger running around some of the vendors. Like, I've seen this before the actual vehicle was announced. So it's nothing to say they couldn't have made a Charger Demon 170 version to come out, and we could have had a 2023 Demon 170 Challenger and a 2024 Demon 170 Charger. I mean, that would have been like a way better option than this whole crazy rollout of staggered releases and pushing the cars back, because these cars are not ready. I mean, they could have did that crap and taken their time getting these new Charger Daytonas out when they are ready. But now they have shot themselves in the foot and dropped arguably some of the most popular coupes and sedans in America. And that was a dumb move, because there are plenty of other V8 options out there for fans in Dodge's absence. The V8 Mustang is out there, and you can get a supercharger kit from Ford that's going to take the horsepower to 800 to make a very compelling Scat Pack, not Scat Pack, but Hellcat and Red Eye killer. And then you have rumors of a four-door Mustang coming, which would be basically the end for the Charger Daytona four-door variant. You got the V8 Corvette coming with over 1,000 horsepower, and the ZR1 coming next year. And we can't really forget about the Blackwing Cadillac cars. And then, you know, the Escalade V is still hanging around, that, you know, I would love to own an Escalade V. Now, it's just a missed opportunity with Jeep that they didn't even drop a Hellcat into a Wagoneer or a Grand Wagoneer, especially if Dodge is still making the Hellcat Durangos all the way out to the 2025 model year. Maybe Canisius comes back and heads up Pontiac and they come out with affordable V8 cars. There's still a lot of options out there, and Dodge just simply dropped out of the horsepower wars to deliver us a Charger Daytona that I don't think is, like I said, I don't think it's very attractive. And literally everywhere you look, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube comments, fans everywhere are clowning Dodge. So, I mean, my main takeaway from here, the Charger Daytona might be Dodge's attempt at staying relevant in an electrified future that is already fizzling out, and it feels like they are losing their way. But between the gimmicky first call perks, the sarcastic messaging, and the pre-configured dealer allocations, and the sky-high prices, it's hard to see how this is not going to resonate and alienate Dodge's core fan base. Dodge is banking on the idea that their fans will stick with them through this transition to electric, but the reality is they might be pushing away the very people who made the brand what it is today. You got thousands of people laid off, dozens of executives that left, and now Stellantis has turned Dodge into Alfa Romeo USA, a glitchy, non-selling brand that is irrelevant and people are clowning everywhere online. But what do you guys think? Is Dodge making the right move with the Charger Daytona, or are they alienating their loyal fan base? Will a six-pack Hurricane Charger Daytona save Dodge, or will it be a DeLorean level flop that make people wish that we went not back to the future, but back to the past? But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates, and until the next time, I'm out.